on Healthy Living, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we are shining a light on efforts to lower the incidence of the disease in Africa. Ghana breaks ground on the first comprehensive cancer center in the country. And Tanzanian advocate Gloria Kida shares her experience with breast cancer and a message of hope. Plus, could a fingerprint test replace the mammogram? We'll see revolutionary research that offers hope for the future of breast cancer screening. We'll have these stories and more in this edition of Healthy Living. Hello, I'm Linor Moudou. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Healthy Living. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month around the world. Breast cancer occurs when abnormal breast cells grow out of control and develop into tumors. If left untreated, tumors can spread throughout the body and become fatal. 670,000 people died of breast cancer globally in 2022, according to the World Health Organization. Observers say while global awareness of breast cancer has increased, many African countries face significant challenges in early detection, diagnosis, and access to treatment. In a historic move to address Africa's growing cancer burden, Breast Care International has begun construction of a $100 million comprehensive cancer unit in Kumasi, Ghana. The facility, which will offer advanced diagnostics, radiotherapy, and treatment, aims to fill a critical gap in cancer care across sub-Saharan Africa, where the Lancet reports that a shortage of such facilities is projected to double cancer death by 2030. Sinanu Todd reports from Kumasi.
At Advocacy in Ghana, breast cancer survivors, advocates, and health professionals dance in celebration, marking a milestone in the fight against cancer in Africa. Breast Care International (BCI) has broken ground on the construction of a historic comprehensive cancer unit in Kumasi.
I am so excited about the Comprehensive Cancer of Excellence. This is a moment, and it's been in the making since Dr. Wiafi started this work in 2002 with a passion for saving women's lives, first in Ghana and then to serve all of West Africa.
The 52-acre project led by the BCI is inspired by their success in the fight against breast cancer. Through awareness campaigns and treatment, BCI now has over 900 breast cancer survivors, compared to less than 20 survivors in 2008.
Where we've reached with the breast cancer information, breast cancer awareness efforts, the things that we've been doing with breast cancer, we could use the breast cancer platform to create awareness about other cancers.
The Comprehensive Cancer Center will address all cancer-related issues in the sub-region, providing accessible healthcare on the continent. One advocate shared how the absence of such a facility in Africa cost the life of a family friend.
It was actually this year. I had a little boy who was 4 years old die from cancer. And we did everything that we could. Eventually, as had to happen, we had to send him to India. He went to India, had treatment, came back, relapsed, and died.
Darko explained that there wasn't a nearby cancer facility to attend to the emergency relapse. It is expected that all that will change when the $100 million cancer center is completed. With $1 million support from the White House Cancer Moonshot Fund, the first phase of the project is expected to be completed within 3 years. It will serve patients and also help in research.
The goal here is to extend the cancer moonshot, President Biden's cancer moonshot, globally. If you extend this globally, you can really have a bigger impact. Also impact that comes back and benefits United States. I can give you examples. This summer we had US students, from University of Pennsylvania come here to Ghana, and they are learning.
The center will operate on the principle of equity, ensuring that every patient receives treatment, regardless of their financial situation.
So we don't want any patient to walk to this comprehensive Cancer Center of Excellence and be turned away because he or she doesn't have money.
Operating through public and private funding, the center will provide advanced diagnostics, radiotherapy, and personalized care. According to the Lancet, Sub-Saharan Africa faces a severe shortage of cancer treatment facilities, which is projected to double cancer deaths by 2030. This new unit aims to bridge the gap, improving access to care and reducing the cancer burden across Africa. Sana Anutod, VOA News, Kumasi.
What are your thoughts on breast cancer and best ways to support patients? Do you think pink ribbons and campaigns like iOctober are effective in raising awareness in your community? Here are some reactions from Nigeria.
Feeling that there are lumps, and when you press it gently, you'll be having the pains on the breast, is one sign or symptoms of breast cancer. Best supporting someone that is battling on breast cancer, I believe there are NGOs that are taking care of women on breast cancer to educate them, for them to go for checkup.
The signs and symptoms is just the examination I know about. As a man, you should be able to help your wife as well to check, to touch the breast. And once they notice you have it, it's just to take you to the hospital.
Actually, I don't know much, but I know that when we were in secondary school, there was this counseling. They used to counsel us that when a girl is bringing out a breast, she should be touching from the top of the breast if there is some lump. That's one of the signs.
I'm not really conversant with the move of breast cancer awareness, but with the little I've seen in other places, I know they are trying anyway, because they give free treatments to people. They give what's the word? They give out therapeutic sessions to people who have it, just to let them know that all is well. It's not the end of the world.
Professor Blaise Nkegum is an oncology expert in Cameroon. He discusses the prevalence of breast cancer in Africa and what is being done to help those suffering from the disease.
We have cancers among Black Africans at around 40 years, which is different in Caucasian patients, where cancers are usually found starting at 50 or 60 years old. It is evident that breast cancer found in Africa has some genetic factors. This has been demonstrated in Black patients living in the United States. The incidence has evolved, and we must realize that exposure to toxicity has increased, especially with environmental factors. The air we breathe contains more than 100 carcinogenic factors. The good news is that it is possible not to die from breast cancer because we know the solution. When a patient is found to have a tumor of 3 centimeters, we simply remove the tumor and they are cured. This can be done in the operating room. The problem is that 80% of patients won't have their lesion found at that stage. The lesion will already be advanced by the time it is discovered. Surgery, chemotherapy, and radiotherapy are the basic treatments, but don't forget what we call targeted therapies. These are new treatments that not only cure breast cancer patients, but also work differently by blocking only specific receptors. The only problem is the cost, as some of these medications cost up to 3 million francs per dose, over $1,000. Let's not forget that the exact cause of breast cancer is not known, so screening is key. Some of the challenges are technological. The first challenge, for example, is a small nuclear medicine scanner. We don't have this device, and even in the richest countries, it is not available everywhere. The second challenge is financial. Let's not forget about brain drain. Can you imagine in a country like Cameroon, with over 25 million inhabitants, there are only about 15 oncologists? Even the few oncologists we train end up leaving due to the problems we know, and they seek opportunities elsewhere. So we face all these challenges, and this applies to all African countries, not just Cameroon. Obesity is an obvious risk factor for breast cancer. Patients with high cholesterol, and men as well, by the way. For the same reason, overweight men with fat accumulations have nearly the same risk of developing breast cancer as women. In some cases, it's an obvious risk factor due to the liver cycle and lipids. So what we recommend to patients is to prevent cancer by practicing sports, exercising, losing weight, and fighting depression.
Gloria Kida is co-founder and CEO of Shuja Cancer Foundation in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. She was diagnosed with breast cancer more than 10 years ago. Today, she's using her experience and platform to empower women and provide support in communities. She shares her story.
Visit to my gyno every month just to see the best control plan, bed control plan for myself. So during the visits, that's when the doctor noticed a lump on my left breast. So during that time, it got to December, so we decided to go for holidays. And I called my sister-in-law in the US and said, we're coming for holiday because my daughter was in the uni, and so let's go for a holiday. So, but I said, no, what? I'm going to take all my reports, all my documents from these doctors. I'm going to go along with them. So I did repeat the screening the screening, the mammogram and ultrasound. And the doctor broke the news that, I'm so sorry, ma'am, that seems like there's a lump in your breast and we suspect it's a breast cancer, but we're going to do a biopsy. It wasn't easy. After we was given the news, we all broke down into tears. So that was a completely shock to us, because after being for sure for 1.5 years that I had nothing. With Shuja, we are supporting reproductive cancer survivors, those who are in active and those who are post-active treatment. And during the process, we realized there was a gap on the survivorship, because once you're done, you're left alone. And survivors are going through a lot of challenges, needs that are not addressed during the treatment or after the treatment. So we realized that there's a need to start the Shuja to support those who are done with the treatment, to take them through the new life, the new normal that they are facing now. And beside that, also to continue with addressing the issue of reproductive cancer by advocating bring awareness to the community, because still people are unknowledgeable, and still there's a lot of misconceptions, and still there's a lot of stigma, and still there's a lot of fear of being diagnosed cancer. So with this, we say, no, we have to break that. So with us, we're trying to tell people and give people hope of making sure that they'll reach their dream, they'll finish well, and all in all will be okay.
Researchers at Sheffield Hallam University in England say a simple fingerprint test to check for breast cancer could eventually replace the mammogram. Fingerprints contain sweat. In the research, scientists look at the molecular makeup of a fingerprint using mass spectrometry, a system that measures the atomic weight of particles and molecules to identify them. The forensic research was aimed at helping to profile criminal suspects by providing intelligence about their lifestyle using just their fingerprints. The scientists realized they could identify cancer markers too. Here is more.
I am hopeful from the data that we have that this could be at least, and that's what we're aiming at, a first pass screening point. So where the patients come and take this simple, painless, non-invasive test, and if they are clean, if they don't have the pathology, they are spared from undertaking mammograms or biopsies. They, of course, are very invasive tests, and they carry a lot of other drawbacks. Of course, in saying that, this is what we have at the moment, so I absolutely would encourage women to take those tests, because they're still saving lives. By having the patient swiping their fingertip on the metal support, we effectively transferring a very thin layer of sweat from their fingertips directly onto the metal support. And sweat contains a lot of different molecules, but what we're interested in is proteins.
That's our show for today. For more health news, wellness tips, and medical breakthroughs, stay connected to Voice of America at voaafrica.com. You can follow me on X at Linochmudu. Until next time, stay well and strive to make every day a healthy day.